Alright guys, welcome back to the second part of my 8th video on text manipulation. Again, we're going to use the text or the command line to manipulate text, right? Using different commands. So as you can see here to our left, on my first video, which actually I want you guys to go back and check out, I went through one, as you can see here, all the way to number 8, which ends in TR. So go check that video out. And the reason I'm breaking them down to two parts is because text manipulation of the subject is actually a lengthy one. And my first video I did, I think the video was 26 minutes long. So go check that one out. And that one's pretty self-explanatory. Again, on my first video, I taught everything from 1 through 8, which ended up here on this one, the TR, translate characters. So the translate characters command will change, will actually make lowercase letters into uppercase letters, and it will do it to all the text in the file. So definitely check out my first video. In fact, check out my other 7 videos that I did. I have a command line series, and I teach everything for networking, hardware, identification, users creation, etc., etc. So check that out. So let's go back to the second part, which is this one, right? So on this video, we're gonna learn everything from number 9 on down. So let's start off with this one right here. WC, aka word count. This command, in my opinion, is very important. And what it does is that it checks how many lines of code a file has or how many lines of text a file has. Instead of having to scroll over here, you see our text editor. Normally, what a lot of people do is that they'll copy and paste like payloads and they'll put them on a file, like let's just say an XXS file. Or you know what, or maybe like some kind of, password list or whatever. They'll paste it on a file and they would scroll all the way down, which could take a while, right? They'll just scroll all the way down just to see how many lines of text there is. The WC actually makes that easier for us. So instead of having to scroll, we could just do this word count line, and the biggest file that I have here is poem.txt. So that's what we're gonna do. Poem.txt. As you can see, almost 3,500 lines of text, right? So now let's do the same over here for hello.txt. As you can see there, I got 9. So let's check out the contents of that. .txt. As you can see there here, right? So as you can see there, I have the names of the files here. So that's interesting. So let's clear that out. So let's go to number 10. Number 10, personally, there's two commands that kind of work the same, which is grep, which I go on my first video, which I talk about in the first part, and zargs. I don't use zargs that much, so we're gonna skip this one. It's up to you if you want to learn it. You can go on Google and learn what it does, etc., etc. I personally don't use this one, so to me it doesn't really matters, so I'm not gonna, I don't, doesn't bother me, I don't care about it. So let's move on to number 11. So as you can see here, this is T, save while viewing. So what this does is that it'll save the names of the files. Oh, hold on, sorry about that. So go over here. So it'll save the names of the files here into a file. So as you can see here, right, we got combined files, multi-lang, new file, poem, simple, hello, new combined file. So it'll save the names of these into a file. So let's do this T, and then we're gonna do, hold on, oh, sorry about that. So list, so again, it's gonna list the contents of our current directory, right, which is what we saw above, and then T hello.txt. So it's going to save all of this here into a file. So the reason a lot of people do this or use this command is because sometimes there's a lot of data saved in a file or folder, and a lot of people want to know what's inside of it. So this is a very good way of grabbing the names of all the files in there and then saving it in a file, then going through it. Okay, this. So this command T is important for that. So now we're gonna go to number 12 and go diff, right? Which compare files. So this one's gonna tell us the differences between one file and the other one. So let's use hello.txt, and you know what's simple. Let's see what it gives us. Let's go over it again. All right, there it is. So, okay, these are the differences, right? Obviously, there's a lot. So this one, our first file, has the red stuff that doesn't exist on this stuff right here. So as you can see, this one, none of the stuff down here exists with this one. So let's do this. Let's see if you know what, let's do this. Watch. Let's create a new file. New hello.txt, and then we're gonna put hello world exclamation point, enter, hello world exclamation point, and then hello world exclamation point, and then another one, hello world, just regularly, space, control C to exit, and then we're gonna do new hello dot txt. Oh, whoops. So let's see. Oh, you know what? I'm tripping. Sorry about that, guys. Whoops, whoopser. New, new, hello, dot txt, enter, and then we're just gonna do it simple. Hello, world again. Hello, world again, and then hello, world again. So now we're gonna compare the differences between files, right? So let's keep that in mind. Let's list again. If new hello dot txt, and then new hello dot txt. So now it's going to show us a difference. So as you can see here, right, these are the differences between the both these files. As you can see, I have three hello worlds, right? This one is telling me the difference. So the red is actually the difference between the one on the bottom. Obviously, the one on the bottom doesn't have that much different to this one. So that's why I think this command is very useful, unless you want to see the differences between files, you know what I mean? So that's a good one. Let's clear it out. Now, let's do FMT and fold formats, reformat lines. So wrap long lines. So fold W80. You know what? Let's do this. We're going to use the hello file. Hello.txt, and then let's do it on the second line. So let's see what happens. I'm curious to see. Combined. See, it looks like it's doing something. COMB, combined files. It looks like it's breaking everything. Oh, it's breaking everything down by two characters in the file. That's interesting. I don't know how this is useful, honestly. You're gonna have to Google that yourself, but as you can see, it's breaking everything on my file down to two words a line. So let's try, I don't know, four, I guess. So now it's doing four of them, as you can see there. I don't know how that's useful, but yeah, that's what fold does, as you can see here. So keep that in mind, just in case you don't want to break down a text file into, different word. I don't know. Anyway, so what do you call this? Let's go to split now. Split into smaller files. So, oh, this is gonna be interesting. Split L100 big txt. Let's try this out. All right. So let's do this. And we're gonna use hello again. This is our dummy file. So let's see what 100 does. Hmm. How about 2? Alright, let's see. Hello.txt. Looks like it didn't do anything. Let's try 5. Cat, hello. Nah, it didn't do anything. Just break big files. I do have the poem one, but I really don't want to break it. But for the fans, we'll try it out. So let's do that. Remember, our poem file is 3,500 lines long. So let's do poem. See what the heck it'll do. All right, cat poem.txt. Doesn't look like it did anything. Still looks very long. So let's skip that. Or you know what? I am such a dummy. It is doing something, all right. It's doing it right here. That is not good. I should have saved it as a .text file if it was gonna do something like something weird like that. You know what I mean? So yeah. So well anyway, there's that. Sorry about the error, and I'm still gonna upload this video, guys, so stick it with me now. So let's do this. Let's check out the contents. I'm gonna open, download text files, and then here. So it did break up the large file into smaller ones, as you can see here, right? This is the poem. So it got everything from 1 to 100. So that command definitely works. There you go. There's that. There's everything fun that you needed to see. All right, excuse me about that. Let me open up my files again. So this command for YouTube. What does that call? Alrighty, alrighty. So now we're gonna go to we just did split. Let's go on paste. Combine files side by side. Paste file text one and file text. Alright, so let's do that. So paste hello txt, and then let's do new hello txt, and then we're gonna name our new file. Or actually, you know what? It might just come right there on the first one. So let's do that. As you can see there. So now let's view the contents of hello.txt. Looks like nothing happened there. So now let's check out new hello.txt. Huh. Looks like nothing happened. Didn't really combine anything. Merge lines. Paste. Nothing happened. I don't see no hellos or nothing. I don't know. So I guess we're gonna skip that one. So now let's check out the number lines. NL. We just saw word count, but this one's NL, and then we're gonna do hello.txt again for the fans. Well, the difference now is that it actually shows it here instead of a text editor. So let's do this. NL, and then poem.txt. What do you mean? Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean I got it wrong? So as you can see here, right? Look at that. Look at that. So instead of having to use a text editor, we can use a command line, which is cool. So again, the command is NL and the file name. So now let's move on to number 17 and our last one. Extract printable text useful on binary programs. Oh, interesting. So I'm not gonna actually use this one because I don't want to mess with the binary file on a Linux machine, but this is pretty self-explanatory. Strings.program.exe. So it will extract printable text. So this right here means that anything that you could read, because normally a lot of files will be encoded or it'll have some kind of fancy gibberish, blah 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 blah. You know how some programs get do and get. So this will extract all the words that you could read. So do that, and I don't want to test and or use it here because I don't want to mess with the executable files or the binaries on Linux because you could cause the whole thing to crash. You know what I mean? And I definitely would never recommend you do that on your Windows PC too. I see people mess with binary files. I'm like, you're just gonna cause a thing to crash. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's the end of the second part of this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry if it was a little bit, ghetto as I say, but again, this is just like beginning stuff. Like I'm trying to give you a roadmap or you can actually learn this on your own because at the end of the day, that's what you're gonna end up having to do. A lot of these commands you're gonna have to learn by yourself. You're gonna have to like use them, and fail, and then Google what it does. Maybe Google a better example of how to use them, etc., etc. I'm giving you a kind of like a road path, a beginning path that gets you started on this. And again, if I were you, I'd just practice and practice and practice a command line because it's a great tool and it really makes you feel like you're in charge of the computer. And it's something I definitely recommend. And it's something that I'm gonna keep teaching you guys. I plan on making a ninth video. I don't know the subject yet, but the command line is vast, so it can be anything. So yeah, guys, please hit the like, subscribe, share, and I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Thank you.